for Gnik. We're going to see if he's able to kind of get some success here. Nosfer, one hell of an opponent to go up against here. Nice little nail jump immediately to secure that rail. Now the start of this, that's where we're going to be a little bit interested.
That's a very interesting and unusual start. It's just Nosfa maneuvering himself all the way around to Mega, and then Gnik doing the exact same thing for Heavy, both essentially just taking the other player's item from the get-go, and Nosfa immediately using his second piercing sight. I mean, the man he's not waiting around one bit, is he?
But I'm looking at what this has done. Because of how they started, Nosfer is able to be near that position, but he's got a rail, because he got the rail as he was on the way. And that's what I think Gnik was kind of keeping an eye on there, was that if he didn't have a rail in that situation, he has to be careful how he maneuvers, because there's so much range near the rail shot that if you haven't got a rail and they're constantly peppering you, you can't have to just get out there.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can deal the same damage.
And
but on the backside,
oh, that's a nice little combo. Gnik has to get out of the room after taking that rocket and rail combo. Nosfa faking the rocket jump.
cheeky.
Is he gonna drop back down? He does!
Get red! Get red, son! Get red like a book! He goes for the fake out and he falls for it. Hook, line, and sinker flea.
Beautiful play from Nosfa, and that takes a lot of self-control too, because you can feel the seconds just ticking away when your opponent can be doing God knows what, but then he just comes and walks right into your arms. Excellent rocket. Nosfa, can he find the kill shot? Unable to get a solid angle to finish off his opponent though, but Gnik is just gonna launch himself up, and he's gonna get elevated with that LG.
That's two disastrous ways to get fragged here at the very beginning. The question is always going to be, how does Gnik recover from this? That's two situations where Nosfer was just on the warpath. He was looking for it. The first one was a perfect read. Not even a read, sorry, a bait, and he rails Gnik.
And I think that just really shows that Gnik at this point, he's lost. Why was he at Mega? Mega wasn't up for another 20 seconds. I think he has absolutely no clue when any of the major items are up. He's just trying to find his way, do anything he can, but then he gets caught up so badly out of position, and Nosfa's aim super solid. He's just gonna land those 3 rails in a row, secure himself another frag. Gnik, he's gotta reorient himself, and maybe picking up that heavy is how he's gonna start. Nosfa, not entirely intentional, I feel like. He can actually go down here, 16 points of health. Gnik, is he going to chase? Looks like Nosfa will be able to get away from now, but that one rocket jump almost spelled disaster for the one and only Nosfa.
But he was able to, he was able to save the piercing sight, but he still didn't see that machine gun damage coming. He is on the back foot here, but with that, good rail. That's going to make Gnik a little bit nervous. Yeah, you can't go super full speed ahead after hitting a rail like that, because there's always the chance Nosfa's going to get some more good shots on you, and it's a risk that you can't really take. If the alternative is to run away and just get the heavy, then take that instead. Gnik now has a great stack. The potential to try and put somewhat of a chokehold here on Nosfer. But Nosfer, there was a lot of passive aggression in the way he was positioning himself, about a minute or so ago. I think it hit so many amazing baits and just catching Gnik with the LG and the second frag that I felt like Nosfer was just confident that I'm reading the hell out of this guy, so why don't I just stay on him?
I mean, the rocket jump just now, that was extremely confident. He knew that Gnik was just around the corner at Mega. Nosfa had 20 points of health, and he's just like, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna come over, I'm gonna take away this small armor right next to you and dance out of the room. That is supreme confidence we're seeing from the Brazilian player. And look at the stacks, the rails that Nosfa just keeps hitting. Gnik has got nothing to work with. Every single time it feels like he's getting into the groove of things, Nosfa just smacks him right back down.
Control goes back into the favor of Nosfer as he collects the Mega. Oh dear. Yep. Full speed ahead, but
bit of a
very little damage actually dealt with this situation. Nosfer far more concerned about establishing control, and absolutely he should be with the lead he's sitting on. Straight through the teleporter. Gnik unable to get some rail. The safety net of being pushed away through the teleporter, so he's not going to get fragged yet.
No.
But again catches him towards the armor. The potential for that fight to come back, that would have been a surprising trade.
I mean, if Gnik rushes Mega right now, but no. I don't know if he didn't have the timing, or maybe just didn't realize how low Nosfa was, but he absolutely could have made a wild dash for the Mega health and gotten away with it, and probably taken a frag as well, but unfortunately for him, didn't quite make that decision. Heavy is up right now. I'm sure that Gnik knows, but he drops down a moment too soon before getting a beautiful and pretty easy angle with the railgun on Nosa as well.
There's that 5-minute warning though. 4 frags in a row. He actually teleports towards the Dire Orb, but once again, it feels like Nosfer's just kind of ready for everything so far. He was hitting that rocket angle just in preparation, and it knocked him too far away. The Dire Orb didn't really accomplish much, and he's not been able to do a lot of damage to Nosfer to force him away from the Mega either.
I feel like Gnik's orb really hasn't been all that effective this match. He's used it several times, but very often it's in a situation like that. He just orbs to get close to his opponent, but not within kill range, not to do damage, not to take him by surprise. And of course, Nosa's going to be absolutely ready for that, and he lands a rocket and just sends his opponent flying right back to where he came from.
There were a few rail misses there, though, that gives Gnik the opportunity to be aggressive. There was no damage dealt. Minimal damage to jump down, though, to Nosfer. Trying to put himself, I think, in a better position to try and maybe take this heavy as it's going to spawn. Some vertical rockets peppering down a rail that once more doesn't hit its mark. Also having the light to retreat to is going to stop the bleeding a little bit. Has to concede the heavy in this situation, but we're just looking at his lead at this stage. The fact that Gnik has had very small opportunities, and that rail again, that one rail I think is responsible for Gnik saying, you know what, I don't think I can teleport to this orb.
Oh!
But oh, wow!
Okay.
Interesting.
Nosa positioned a bit too much to the left, didn't get the spawning Mega, but the rail did get him. Excellent way to finish it off, because again, that orb really wasn't all that good. It didn't make, I mean, it made Nosa look away for a second, but Gnik didn't get any sort of utility out of it. Didn't land the rail, didn't gain a lot of positioning, so didn't get much use out of that orb, but then the rail makes everything alright, and with 3 minutes left on the clock, and 3 minutes, or 3 frags to go, rather, I feel like Gnik would have orbed if he had rockets, but he's out of the rockets. He cannot make that happen with just LG, and so he waited, played the patient game, and I fully support him in that.
But now the piercing sight being available means Nosfer, if he has any doubt, right now I'm sure he's just using his ears. You know, he's listening out for where Gnik is making the chase. Okay, good rail. Needs to hit one more. Nosfer vulnerable without armor. Tri-bolt though. How many times do you see that where there's just the perfect tri-bolt, but Nosfer must have been convinced that Gnik was running away after that damage.
Yeah, he didn't even look left, didn't even scan or check the room, just made a way out of there. But Gnik was ready for that though. Here we go, Nosa actually picking up the Mega. 2.5 minutes left to go, entirely within the realm of possibility. Gnik, can he find Nosa a few more times? He definitely doesn't have to rush things just yet. He's got the time to work with, but if he gives up one more frag, things will be dire.
Gotta be careful near this heavy. He's been so reserved, he knows. If he loses a frag here and gives Nosfer a 5-2, it's likely Nosfer's probably gonna win. However, little recovery. Oh, some rocket damage information for Nosfer that says, yep, that's my green light to run away. Less than 2 minutes on the clock now, with the 2 frag lead and the stack that Nosfer's working on. Likely to get, you know, a couple more piercing sights before this map is done and dusted, but so far, Gnik kind of struggling to get that opening shot. I think that Nosfer is eluding him quite well.
Yeah, that's a lot of time burned by the Brazilian player. Heavy. Looks like it might actually go to Nosa, but no, he does. Jump into the room, takes quite a bit of damage. Come on, Gnik, he's got to step things up. That's a good orb to build himself up some momentum. Catch Nosa off guard. This should 100% be a frag.
Oh no, the miss! Could be a catastrophic miss.
Oh no.
He had the perfect play. The Dire Orb to beat Nosfer near the heavy. Even though he collected it, I don't think Nosfer was prepared for him to cover that much distance that quickly.
Just didn't have the right read on how stacked Nosa was, because if he's going to watch the VOD back and see that Nosa was down to 10 points of health, he's going to be screaming at himself not to just peek with the shotgun, with the machine gun, with another rocket, with anything that wasn't a rail. But unfortunately for him, oh, this might actually be going the wrong way, and yep, Nosfa just gets him. And I feel like that might very well be the end of this series. With just 30 seconds left to go.
Nosfer's got all the weaponry. He's got a decent amount of stack too. Piercing sight's going to come back before the very end, but ultimately, I'm just looking at the frags. 3 frags for Gnik to tighten things up. And that final fight, yeah, it's like you said, he's going to go back and watch this VOD and be like, oh man, really?
Yeah, And 10 seconds left on a map like Blood Covenant, way too large to even get to your opponent on the other side of the map if you do manage to get a kill. So that will be Nosfa taking home map 1.
Not completely.